Welcome to SunnySpeaks. Here again with another review for you, and you. And today, I am going to talk about The Monkey, directed by Osgood Perkins and starring Theo James, Tatiana Maslany, Colin O'Brien, and many more. During childhood, two brothers, Hal and Bill, are inherited a toy monkey from their father. After a series of unexplainable deaths tear their family apart, they decide to leave the creepy monkey behind. But 25 years later, it's back and deadlier than ever. Osgood Perkins is a very interesting director to me. Having only seen Longlegs and The Monkey, I think filmmakers like Robert Eggers and Osgood Perkins have made the future of horror movies very bright or darker, depending on how you look at it. From the trailer, I loved the tone of this film, and I'm glad to say that the film as a whole balances its tone incredibly. I wasn't the biggest fan of Longlegs, but after seeing The Monkey, I want to give that movie a second chance. I love the tonal shifts throughout this horror film. Comparing it to another horror comedy like Hard Eyes, a movie I was not fond of at all. What's great about this movie is that the concept is absurd and ridiculous, but the characters take it very seriously. So the horror is still able to impact you, but the overall experience can still be hilarious or at least fun, depending on your outlook. For me personally, I was laughing very hard at times at how ridiculous things were, and at times I was very disturbed and very unnerved by the monkey in particular, because it is one of the creepiest things I've ever seen in my life. But also the way that the deaths transpire, I found very unnerving. But again, at the same time, very fun. I love the way that Osgood Perkins captures the monkey through the lens. There's so many shots where it's a close-up on the monkey's eyes, and I found those shots very creepy and unnerving. And when the monkey smiled or when it moved its face, and there's these very small ticks that the monkey has that makes it seem like it's not just a toy, but it never leans too far into one side, and so it makes it even creepier when certain things happen. I saw this movie on a XD screen, and for lack of a better term, this film looks like a film, and I love that. It has its own visual style, while still being reminiscent of modern times. And I love the off-kilter nature that Osgood Perkins creates visually. From the cinematography, to the musical choices, to the edits, to the color grading, the directing of this film was my favorite part of the movie. It balances being fun and hilarious, while being dreadful and depressing and tragic, and of course, bloody. The kills in this movie are really cool. I didn't realize how much I missed the Final Destination style of horror movies until seeing the trailer for the recent installment and watching this movie, The Monkey. I love that this movie has fun with the absurdity of the deaths and the way that they transpire. They're crazy elaborate ways, or it's just very simple and to the point. And I found that really enjoyable and unpredictable most times. Also really like The Monkey always playing the drums as a signal of when a death was going to happen. I found that choice very interesting and easy to create anxiety, because you never know who the monkey is going to kill next. And so when the monkey starts playing the drums, it's very unnerving and very creepy, but also again very odd and almost humorous at how ridiculous it is. Christian Convery and Theo James play the kid and adult versions of the twin brothers Hal and Bill. I thought Convery's performance was really, really great. Honestly, he does a really great job of differentiating the two, Hal and Bill, so much that I questioned the entire time when he was on screen if these are two different kids or if it's the same kid, because of how well he was able to act as different people. And I really liked the fact that the movie does have you sit with the kid versions of Hal and Bill for a good amount of time, for a good 30-40 minutes, and it doesn't feel slow. It doesn't feel like, oh, let's get to the point. The movie is still bloody, it's still funny, it's still ridiculously weird, but his performance as Hal and Bill was really great. I would like to see him in more things and hope he has a bright future moving forward. Theo James is basically the main character of this movie as Hal. That is really the main focus. He's the narrator throughout the entire movie, and I found his performance as Hal really, really cool. He's bumbling and odd, but because he has such a dark and depressing past that it's trying to catch up to him. And his relationship with his son Petey, played by Colin O'Brien, I thought was the emotional highlight of this entire film. I wish the writing would have allowed them to experience more of the horror together, as really only happens during the third act of the film, but I would have liked to see that more. And I feel like their chemistry is really what works so well. I don't even think the writing really gives them that much to do together, but the chemistry between them is really what's the highlight. I do think that Theo James as Bill during the later parts of the movie, while not being bad at all and still has great comedic timing at times, there isn't much of a difference to me between Hal and Bill in the way that Theo James portrays those two characters as an adult. Obviously they look different. One has glasses, one doesn't, but I do feel like it kind of breaks the immersion of the story because he isn't as different as Christian Convery's performance as the two characters before, in my opinion. But overall, I still think Theo James was really great in this role, especially as Hal. And from the trailer, I knew, like, I've always liked his performances, stuff like in White Lotus, or even his very small role in Duel, which is a very underrated movie. And I really liked him as the main character in this and being the vehicle you kind of operate in as you're going through this very odd and weird story. To keep it as fair as I can, this movie also does do things to push the plot further that aren't the smartest, that can, just because they want to do that, because they want to get to a certain point. Characters do stupid things instead of prioritizing their life, and that stuff can be kind of dumb at times. Very similar to, again, a movie like Hard Eyes. But I do think this movie is less of a culprit of that type of writing than the former. I believe that this movie, while still having its stupid moments and having characters do dumb things at times, it does establish rules that not only are very interesting, but are respected in the world while also being tested. And I really like that the characters are testing how far they can go with this or with that. And the monkey is constantly plotting against our characters. And other than Christian Convery's performance as Hal and Bill in the beginning of the movie, the monkey is probably my favorite character. I found it fascinating, and I like that, again, it never goes too far while also going around killing people. It never goes too far to where it breaks the immersion or breaks the level of fear that you can have, because it is very creepy and very stationary, and you'd have to watch the movie to understand what I'm saying. But again, when it smiles, sometimes it is terrifying. Overall, I thought The Monkey was a great horror movie in 2025. Probably my favorite movie of this year so far. I would give this film a partly sunny rating. I enjoyed it a lot, and the only reason why I wouldn't give it a sunny rating is because it didn't emotionally impact me. It was just a really fun time, and if you want to go see a movie that is a great balance of horror and comedy while still having a great directorial vision, I think that this is a movie for you. I am really excited to see what Osgood Perkins does next in his filmography, and I'm really glad that this movie, from the trailer, I thought was going to be really fun, and seeing the movie, it was exactly what I thought it was going to be and so much more. This has been my review of The Monkey. Let me know what you think about the movie in the comments down below if you have seen it, because perspective is key. If you haven't seen it, let me know if this review makes you want to go see the movie or not. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, and I'll be back again. Peace.